People, welcome. I'm not going to introduce myself, y'all know who I am. So what I'd like to say is thank you to each and every one of you for coming here tonight. This is a celebration of Paul's life in Puerto Vallarta. I'd like to be able to stand here in front of you and deliver it. I just can't. So I'd also like you to invite you to take any pictures you would like tonight, and please post them. I want this to be a joyous event. So without any further ado, I would like to ask my long-lost Aunt Pearl to come to the stage. Apparently my uncle or my grandfather or somebody had an affair somewhere, I think called tuna. And here she comes, Aunt Pearl.
So nice of somebody to invite me to do something besides bingo. I get tired of B1, 074. Well, it is a very big honor to have been part of my cocktail. I hope all of you got one. Good. I'm going to set it down over here for just a moment. And sorry we were a little late getting started. We were waiting on a couple of people who had to work 9 to 5, and then had to run over here. So, you know, people that still work. I don't know if anybody really works in this town, but apparently somebody does. Anyway, we have a lot of things to talk about today. But first of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to be here. Now that I've been able to come and speak before you nice folks, maybe they'll up my pay upstairs at bingo. You know, normally I get 2 drink tickets. I think tonight Paul and for doing this for Paul, Mike offered me 3 drink tickets. So I do appreciate that. I really do. Folks, good afternoon. And on behalf of Mike, I thank you for being here today at the celebration of life for Paul. We're here to pay tribute and to give him a proper Puerto Vallarta send-off. Now, this eulogy that I'm going to share with you is of 2 different eulogies that were delivered at Paul's funeral. One of which was written by his cousin, Paul Stetham, and the second by his friend of many years, Debbie Cochran. And Mike has, and I had to look this word up, amalgamated. Has anybody ever used that word in a sentence? I never have. But Mike has amalgamated them for me this evening, and he's added to it. Now, Paul had the ability to make you feel that you were the most important person in the world when you were with him. He always had a welcoming smile, and a smile that was ever present on his face. He was also a quick wit, quick to laugh, and had an incredible sense of humor. There's no doubt that Paul was taken from us way too early, but he crammed a lot of living into the time that he did have. Now, after graduating from high school, he went on to study design and communications at St. Lawrence College and the Ontario College of Arts. He also studied psychology at Queen's University. He quickly made his mark in the business world by providing business coaching, training and development, graphic design, communications, and marketing services. He held senior positions in advertising, design, and communications at major international communications firms, and he rose to the level of Vice President of Advertising and Communications for Grenada, Canada. He excelled at what he did, and is this still on? Yes. He excelled at what he did, and he won Toronto Art Director, Bessie, and International Hollywood Awards. He was also very proud of the work that he did for the hometown, his hometown of Prescott, particularly the logo design of the Prescott Sesquicentennial, there's another long word, minted on a Canadian coin. He was also a licensed trainer of pure neuro-linguistic programming, and he held both a master and a practitioner certificate from that field. In addition, he was a certified handwriting analyst, and he held multiple executive positions in the International Grapho-Analysis Society and was past president of the Ontario chapter. He won the Ontario Grapho-Analysis of the Year Award and the President's Citation of Merit of Excellence, and provided professional opinions in successful legal cases. And talk about a high achiever, can barely pronounce those words. Now, after moving from Toronto to Prescott in 1983, Paul spent many years working with Mike at St. Lawrence College, designing and delivering programs for youth with barriers. This entailed working with young people who not only lacked employability skills, but had anger management issues, lack of self-esteem, and mental health issues often. Paul gave these kids a healthy dose of tough love and told them like it was. As a result of his ability to cut through the noise and the problems, he was able to connect and help these kids. Many of them went on to jobs in higher education, and that includes apprenticeships and nursing, and his program scored the highest graduation and success rates in Ontario. Paul was a difference maker, and he held a life full of a wonderful legacy. And to imagine, he did all of this in such a humble and modest way. Paul and Mike met 26 years ago and began a loving and faithful relationship that became even more meaningful when they were married in 2006. They complemented one another so well, were fun to be around, and were gracious hosts at their many, many parties. Mike and Paul moved to Puerto Vallarta in 2015, where they had been vacationing for over 23 years. They both loved Puerto Vallarta, and their dream was to retire there, which they did, and here. Paul loved Puerto Vallarta, the weather, the people, the fun. He continued the graphoanalysis work with firms in Mexico City and Canada, and settled into a routine of working on the third floor balcony, overlooking their neighborhood down the street, El Coloso. The daily routine of doing what he wanted to do, when he wanted, became something he very much enjoyed, and he took every day as it came. Now, Paul started to get ill around Christmas of last year, and a myriad of small ailments, but under no circumstances would he admit that anything was wrong, because he didn't want to leave Puerto Vallarta. Deep down he must have known that he was seriously ill, but he hid it as best he could from Mike and from the world. The only person he was fooling was himself, and sometimes that's the most important. In early May it became very evident that he was seriously ill, but he continued to ignore it, hoping that it would go away, and he simply would not listen to anyone. By mid-May he started failing, and his excuses then were that he would slip or that he had fallen, and that the medication he was taking caused an equilibrium problem, etc. Anything but face the fact that there was something seriously wrong. And then on May 23rd, he fell in the streets, and some very, very kind Mexican men helped him into a cab and got him home safely. Finally, he said he needed help and would be seeing the doctor the following day. And that night, Mike insisted he go to the hospital when Paul's temperature spiked to 104, where he was quickly diagnosed with an aneurysm in his stomach and a mitral heart valve was needed. At that point, arrangements were made to take him to Ottawa, Canada, where he was admitted to the Ottawa General Hospital. Now, despite heroic efforts and wonderful care from doctors and nurses, Paul was finally diagnosed with a terrible and rare disease called HLH 4 days before he died. There was no chance of recovery. So faced with this diagnosis, Mike put into play the end-of-life plans that both he and Paul had made many years ago, so that he would ensure Paul's wishes were met and that he would have a peaceful and pain-free death. Paul died 3 months ago today, on June 13th at 1 p.m. with his brother Mitch, Mike, and his cousin Ann, and his BFF Carol by his side. During these final weeks of life, Paul and Mike were surrounded by loving and supportive family and friends. They were always there when they needed them. They were never alone in dealing with Paul's fight, and the life that they needed to continue to support was what got Mike through the following weeks. Paul was buried beside his mother in his hometown of Prescott, and shortly thereafter, Mike returned to his home here in Puerto Vallarta. Now, I would like to share with you a few stories, and I'm going to come down because I just want to sit here on the stage and tell you about this. Is there tissue in the house? So, here's some interesting and fun little stories that we're going to share with you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I would like now to share these stories about Paul from his family and friends that they shared with me. Many years ago, the best friend, Debbie Cochran, called Paul in tears. She had just spent a fortune on a new sofa that had been delivered and was regretting her decision. Debbie was calling Paul for advice, and there was something you always knew about Paul. If you asked him a question, you'd better be prepared for the answer. So Debbie called and said, "Now they just delivered this sofa and I'm so upset. It's too big and it's too masculine." Paul said, "There is no such thing as too big or too masculine." Debbie still has that sofa. Now the second story is about Paul having to move from Prescott to Boston every year for hockey season, as his father, Leo Boivin, played for the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins. I'm such a sports fan. It involves Paul and his cousin Ann riding one another while Paul was in Boston. Now, Ann said that for 2 years in a row, he would write in his March letter the following: "Well, the regular season is winding down. Keep your fingers crossed that they won't make the playoffs, and I'm ready to come home now." Any recollection of Paul's life would be incomplete without mentioning Carol Murray. She was a little French-Canadian girl who moved to Prescott from Cornwall in the 60s. That sounds like some place near Tuna, Cornwall. She could barely speak English and had no friends, so naturally cousin Ann befriended her. Now, Paul was in Boston at the time, and when he returned that spring, he saw that Carol was an important part of Ann's life and said to Ann, "Who's the new chick?" Ann told him the story of Carol moving to Prescott, etc. And Paul said, "Ditch her, we don't need her." Ann resisted and said, "Paul, she is a nice person, a good friend, and you will get to like her." Well, it took a while, but eventually Paul accepted that Carol was a wonderful person, and then two peas in a pod they became. The Three Musketeers they became. The three of them enjoyed a lifetime of fun, love, and kinship. And when Mike came on the scene 26 years ago, it became the Four Musketeers, and it remains the same to this day. I'd like to include Paul's story with a poem. I'd like to conclude Paul's story this evening with a poem entitled "When I Am Gone." The author is unknown, but it's not unreasonable to think that Paul could have written it. And as though he is speaking directly to each of you, think about that as I read this. It was always Paul's wish to make a personal connection with everybody. When I am gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You must not tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had so many years. I gave you love. You can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I thank you. I thank you for the love each have shown, but now it is time I traveled alone. So grieve a while for me, if grieve you must. Then let your grief go and be comforted by trust. It is only for a while that we must part, so bless these memories within your heart. I will not be far away, for the life goes on, and if you need me, call, and I will come. Though you cannot see or touch me, I will be near. And if you listen with your heart, you will hear all of my love around you, soft and clear. Then, when you must come this way alone, I will greet you with a smile and a welcome home. Rest in peace, Paul. We're going to watch a little celebration of life video that Mike has made for us, which includes some of his favorite music.
Before we go to the video, there's three people actually, we're going to invite to the stage. And Frank Martin has been a friend for many, many years. And I'm very happy to invite him to come forward and to say a few words. Frank?
Okay, I need light. I get light. I had the good fortune to meet Paul in December of 2008 here in Puerto Vallarta. We had a mutual friend, which was our link, and we were here for Christmas and the New Year's holidays. Becoming a friend with Paul was easy. Becoming a friend with Paul was easy.
Muy bueno.
Nice. He took a genuine interest in people whom he met, asking questions, learning about them, looking for the things which we would have in common. He was genuine and welcoming with those he came in contact with. The first year, he and I learned of each other's vices, more specifically our love for Miami vices. Lovely cocktail to be having on the beach, and each of us saying we couldn't possibly have one more. One more would arrive, and not wanting them to go to waste, we would consume them without any issue. Paul was a teacher and an avid reader. I could always learn something from Paul every time we got together. He had a love for computers, and he became my go-to person. Something, I would go to him, and chances are he would have it on his computer. Paul never owned just one computer. If you've been to their home, Paul had many computers on the go. He always knew what to look for, and I could always be assured that he would have something available for me. Paul and I didn't keep in touch much over the course of the year when the holidays were over, but as soon as the next Christmas rolled around, we'd meet up and pick up where we left off. The days and the months in between did not exist, a true sign of a strong friendship. This continued each Christmas until Michael and Paul actually moved down here to live. I soon observed Paul's unique sense of fashion here in Puerto Vallarta, his unique trademark of flower shirts, which we see throughout here, and because I actually don't own one, I had to borrow one of Paul's to wear here. So thank you, Paul, for one of your shirts. Paul actually had an inn in Vallarta for where he bought his shirts. He bought them at Rosie's in Old Town. Now, Paul didn't shop off the rack. Paul shopped in the back. Rosie has a stash back there if you're looking for them. That's where Paul would always go and make his purchases. But he had to promise not to tell anybody because Rosie didn't want it to be known that that's where she kept the good stuff. Paul and I did share a memorable evening of bar hopping, although we could not recall much of it the following day. Our Christmas group had abandoned early, and Paul and I weren't ready to call it a night. So we decided to sample margaritas in every bar in town. Needless to say, the consequences the next day were extremely painful and unforgiving. Mike was not pleased with either of us, as he had a presentation to do at the Botanical Gardens. I had promised him I would drive him there. I was in no shape to drive. Paul, the pillar of support, was nowhere to be seen. He was holed up in bed. Gracious as Mike is, he never said anything to us. He didn't have to. We could tell we were in deep shit. Good times, absolutely good times. Paul and I loved our Costco runs. We both would say we only needed a few things, and we all know what it was like with our Costco runs. There's never a few things. Thank God I had a big car at the time to bring our few things home with. I miss my friend Paul. Where did that come from? I miss the phone calls asking how I'm doing, when am I coming over. Paul always said, Hola Franco. It was a unique name for me. I miss hearing him, his mischievous snicker when he's been up to something, which would lead to a bit of chisme over the phone. Absolutely, without issue between the two of us. I'm blessed to have met Paul and to be able to call him my friend. Now, in my bad Spanish, aunque no estoy aquí hoy, mi corazón conserva tu esencia y el eco de tu voz hedora, y solta en mi boca una sonrisa porque sé que te veré otra vez, en otra vida, en otro tiempo. Así siempre, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. I really appreciate that. And you're a friend also. The next people I would like to invite to the stage.
I'm sorry, I'm falling down on my duties.
Don't fall down, honey. You're doing just fine. Grab your cocktail.
I prematurely introduced the video. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry.
But we have Joaquin coming up next.
Joaquin and Dennis, yeah.
Dennis, are they?
They're right down here. Joaquin and Dennis, could you come to the stage? Before they do that, though, sit. I'm not very direct at all sometimes. Joaquin and Dennis, I met Joaquin when I did my last presentation of the Botanical Gardens, and by that point it was like my third or fourth presentation, and I was getting really tired of doing free presentations of the Botanical Gardens by that point, and talking to people about Photoshop, and they would say, well, what can I do with my cell phone? So Joaquin was my only person that showed up that day. Yes, and so he got a personal and private lesson, and then he invited me back to see his orchids, and I thought, really? He had 600 fucking orchids. He cultivates and breeds them. So he really did have orchids, and I saw all the orchids. And since then, Joaquin and Dennis became very, very good friends with Paul and myself. And they're going to come up and they're going to go through a few photographs of some interesting times that we've had together. Boys, come to the stage, please. Can we cue the photos, please?
Cue the photos, just stay right here.
Staying there.
I plan on flooding into the lower level here. So I'll jump on the other one.
I want to close to you now.
Oh, when we met Paul,
Dennis, take over.
We were thinking this was going to be funny and a nice game. Clearly, Joaquin is not prepared for the emojis. I wasn't either.
Close to your mouth here. Thank you.
You always say that. We met Mike and Paul very early before they came down here, and it was love at first sight. They became really great, wonderful friends, and we said so many times and great times together. It's just impossible to express in words just how much the loss of Paul has meant to us. But I didn't want to do sad things. I wanted to do bright and funny things. And Joaquin was going to help me, but anyway, we're going to share just some moments of our lives with Paul and Mike. This is one of those. This is our nightly margarita run. Whenever we were spending a week in Mexico City, and we always waited for Paul, and he would say, okay, it's time for margaritas. So we would go, and this was one time we were downtown on a Sunday, could not find anything, and we found this little place on the second floor, and they had a great band, and they had all these great things. And we had a wonderful time, and lots of margaritas, as we always did. And there's another one, okay. Okay, this is just another picture. So the way we remember Paul, and this is in our house, and we were doing some cooking, of course, as we always do. And it's just, that's Paul. He's just always, he has that smile. It could be a very broad and grinny smile. It could be one of these cheesy smiles like on the side of his mouth, as he often does. And it's just, this is the way we were, and we'll miss him so much. And again, this is one of our dinners at Via Padre, and I don't know which one it was or when, but we always tried to eat outside, and just a wonderful time, and with friends, and Paul and Mike, and everybody getting drunk and having good food. The same old, same old. Oops. Okay, well, this one didn't come at that way. But anyway, this is, I'm a teacher, okay. The one thing, this is my special moment with Paul, is that last March, we have an annual costume ball, and this time it was cowboys, Indians, and bar girls and sluts. Well, Paul and I decided that we were going to be sluts. We decided that we had gotten our bustiers from China, so that was great, but then we had to do all the other accoutrements. So we planned a day, and Mike and Paul and I, we went to PTL, the big city. They'd never been to the big city before, and to do shopping. So we went, and we went to the cowboy shop for Mike, and he found his great boots and everything, and great price. He had a fun time. But then it was for Paul and I to go shopping, looking for all the great things we can find in PTL. And I don't know if you've been to PTL to go shopping, but they have all these little shops all along the streets, and can be just little shops in the front, but they go way back. So Paul and I went off, and we were looking to find all of the things. The first thing we had to find was hot pants, the little Daisy Duke hot pants. Really. And so we go in the shops, and there are all these hot pants, and all the little girls there waiting on us, and we go, okay, well, we need this size, and she looks, and she says, okay, you okay? And Paul was a little bit chubbier than I am, and so she said, but I've got it, and those things are amazing. They stretch like, you can be like, they'll fit you, it's no problem. And so we were very, Paul especially, this was his first drag experience, I think.
Not really.
No, okay, well, he said it was. Okay, that hurt, that really hurt. Anyway, so we go in, and we start playing, and I see Paul, his eyes are just twinkling. His mind is running 20, 30 miles an hour as he's thinking, what can I do? Okay, I've got my hot pants, I need to have my stockings, I need to have my choker and feathers in the hair, and he goes on and on and on, and we just go to every shop, and the people are just so kind and just amazing, as they always are. And then finally we go, and I take him to my secret shoe place, and we go, and because there's nowhere that you're going to find a size 10, nowhere. Well, this one little place does have them. So we go, and this little lady comes in, and she says, well, I have this and this, and this is the one I want right here. He knew exactly what he wanted. It was a 4-inch heel. Now I'm going, okay, this is not good. But anyway, she brought it out, he put it on, and he goes, and I'm afraid. He says, he's going to fall, he's going to break his ankle, he's going to fall down. He goes, and he starts walking, and he walks like the runway. It's just like up and down like nothing. No wobble, no nothing. He says, girl. So anyway, we got all of our stuff, and so this is one of the other things. Anyway, this is another picture. So go to the next one, please. So this is Paul getting made up by my neighbor. This is at our house. We have our vodka and tonics and the makeup party. And it's just amazing. We had the best time. And first comes the eyelashes, which is the worst thing, and the eyeliner. And of course the lipstick and the rest of it. My neighbor Nancy always does my makeup, and she's fabulous. Next, please. What can we say? You know, beauty is really just incredible. So. Sluts, yes, I know. I heard say that. Oh, no, I'm sure it wasn't. Next, please. So this is why I love my sister, Paul. We just had the most wonderful time dressing up, creating, and great memories.
There I am with these two beautiful ladies. From Amarillo.
And of course, Paul.
That's good.
And Mike, yeah, okay. And I said the party. And of course, we both did win prizes, though I did collect a lot more money than Paul. But that's beside the point.
I just want to point out one thing. If you look at the bracelet on Paul's wrist, this was his mother's bracelet.
Keep yourself proud.
So this is how when I think of Paul, this is what I think. I think of the creativity, the wonderful birds and the smiles that he brings to my face, and I'll never forget him. We miss you, Paul. Love you.
Completely got us off schedule because I was supposed to wait till now to do my speech, and I did it early on. I just sometimes I just get off the schedule, and I did tonight. And there is supposed to be a wonderful music performance, but half of the musical performance team is stuck in the river. They decided to take a float down the river today, and they got stuck somehow under the bridge. So they will be here just in a moment. So I think that we will jump forward instead of doing Piel Canela's song at this moment. I think it'd be more appropriate to play the video because we do know that he is on his way momentarily. If I have to drag the river to find him, okay. Let's go ahead to the video that Mike prepared, and this is probably going to just tear you up. So just watch this video. The music alone is just. Well, it's elegant, if nothing else.
Just wanna
Oh, we can watch that again later if we want to. I like that. Anybody want to get the...
No, our sound guy is back there. I don't know. Our sound here. Our sound guy is back helping Fernando, who finally finished his river raft trip, and he's so they're going to set up for a minute. But some of you may be wondering, where did Mike find that wonderful song with those dirty lyrics? I happen to know because once upon a time I lived in Chicago and I worked for the Lyric Opera, and there is actually an opera called Jerry Springer, the Opera. And that song is sung by one of the characters who gets made fun of because she is sort of a barfly, so to speak. Everybody knows what a barfly is. She is what she is, and she gets tired of being teased, and she's been a stripper in her life. And so, as you can imagine, a Jerry Spring episode might have those characters on there. But so then she sings this wonderful song, and some of the music from Jerry Springer the musical is wonderful. So that song, I was so happy when Mike said he chose that, and just a great way to sort of say life needs to be not taken quite so seriously. If you're going to make fun of me, well, let me just sing a song about it. So we're going to set up these guys now. Everybody knows Piel, Canela, Eduardo Leon, and Fernando Gonzalez are here. They are going to play a song at the request of Mike. I won't tell you what song it is, but Mike, as a surprise to you, we have asked Gina to sing the lyrics to the song. So Gina is here. Gina Pressley. And Gina and I have just become friends lately. But she's just a delightful person. Now she's a Delta Airlines flight attendant, and she, I guess she was serving too many cocktails on the plane. Anyway, she twisted her ankle, and so she has a
Oh no, I left it at home.
Oh, you did? Well, I mean, why I mentioned it then.
Yeah, I can remember.
Oh, okay, she's done with that. Okay, good. When you guys are ready, come down and get set up. Are you already set up? You're already ready. They have all these wireless contraptions. So, thank you.
Oh, there's good. Wonderful. So we'll pass this off to Gina Pressley, who's going to sing for us. And you'll all recognize this song. This was one of Paul's favorite songs. And we'll give them a little more stage light up here. I think we've plugged all those in. Okay.
So the cast.
Gina, I'll give you this.
The cast is in the river. I think it's.
Oh, you threw it in the river. You must have been in the river with Fernando, huh?
I was, yes. We were on a river trip. The cast is probably in Guam by now, yeah. Okay, so I have to stand near. Do you love these guys? I love them. I love them. I am so honored to sing with them. And thank you so much for inviting me, Mike. And I'm very old, so I have to put my glasses on so I can see the lyrics. Or otherwise, I make them up.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Just take them off, yeah. Okay. I literally walked in the door and Eduardo said, yeah, come and sing. Okay. Okay. Yeah. He's like, okay. Tranquilo. Okay. Tranquilo. It's all good. And then we'll do it later, Garbos. How about that? You tell me when you are ready. So, Mike, how are you? Are you okay? Everything is good? Look at this wonderful turnout of these amazing people.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. I see so many nice friends, new friends. I moved to Puerto Vallarta a year and a half ago. And just this year, just since January, I'm here full time. And I've never been here in the low season. So this is all new to me. And my streets, you can kayak on them. I love that. Every day I can go to the beach or I can kayak, yeah. How we doing? Who's tuned up? Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, you just play just for just a second and I'll tell you when I'm ready. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. That's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh why can't I? Now you guys can play. Somewhere over the rainbow. Ooh, I lost my lyrics now. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh why can't I? Somewhere beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I? Ladies and gentlemen, Piel Canela.
Okay. I don't know if this mic
Yes,
is.
here, I'll take this one.
Okay. All of a sudden, let me help you. This is not a time for you to fall.
No.
No, it's not. I don't know how you do that.
I just practice.
If I sprained my ankle, it'd be 6 weeks before I could even look at a pair of shoes like
I
that.
love your shoes, so I was wearing
You look beautiful, by the way.
Gracias.
Thank you guys. Eduardo Leon, Fernando Gonzalez, Gina Pressley. So I'll pass this mic to you. I think we have another song that Piel and Canela are going to come up and do. And have we missed anything? Have we left anything out?
Just like to say a few words.
Yes, please, come on up.
Battery's dead on that one.
That's test.
I cannot begin to describe how much it means having all of you in the house tonight. Thank you so much. I had no idea Gina was going to wrap it up. And thank you for helping me say a proper word of goodbye to my lover and my husband and my best friend, Paul.
Well, it's our honor to host this for you, Mike, and thank you all for coming and being here. We're going to have Piel Canela do another song, and since it's raining out on the patio, as well as all over Puerto Vallarta, we're going to bring, if it's okay with our wait staff, instead of doing it outside on the terrace, just bring the canopies in here. We've been working since 7 a.m., right, Kateri? So preparing some canopies. Our chefs have been working here to do that. So Eduardo and Fernando, if you want to come back up and...
They're practicing.
They're practicing.
They're in the hall.
Oh, okay, we'll go down.
Okay, kids in the hall.
Because it's time. Because they don't want to hear me sing. So we're gonna bring up the lights and just enjoy some music from Piel Canela. We're gonna bring around some canopies. If you want another drink, feel free. The canopies are provided by Mike. And just take as many as you want. We've got plenty. So yes, and thank you guys. And it's very important for me to say this, that more than ever here in Puerto Vallarta, at events like this, you get a sense of what a strong community we have here in Puerto Vallarta. And it's better than it's ever been. I've been around Puerto Vallarta for 17 years, and about 10 of those full-time here, and I can't think of another place I'd rather be. And it's a really nice, solid, knit community that we have here, and I would love to keep it like this and continue growing it, because I feel that we all support each other and take care of each other here, and that's very important. So thank you, Mike, and if there's ever anything we can do for you as your friends, we are here for you. Thank you. They are coming back to the stage. Mike's new photo art exhibit will open our new season on the walls in about a month and a half. He's been preparing his new show, so we'll have that up on the walls, as well as our new season announced in October 4th. And you'll be the first to know that we are closing for just a week on September 26th through October 4th to do a little maintenance and drink a few beers. So, Eduardo Leon, Fernando Gonzalez, Piel Canela. got stuck in the river, would you do one more for us? Okay, thank you.
Julie, correct me. Nalagay niya.
Debajo de esas dos cejas, debajo de esas dos cejas, qué bonitos ojos tienes. Ellos me quieren mirar, pero si tú no los dejas, pero si tú no los dejas, ni siquiera parpadear. Malagueña salerosa, besar tus labios quisiera, besar tus labios quisiera. Malagueña salerosa, y decirte mi hermosa. Eres que me amabas tiernamente, me amabas tiernamente, tus ojos me anunciarás. Me impresionabas cuando de mí estaba ausente, cuando de mí estaba ausente, de mi pasión de burlar. quisiera, besar tus labios quisiera, malagueña sabrosa y decir que eres hermosa. Eres como el canto de una rosa.
Once again, a big thank you to Eduardo Leon and Fernando Gonzalez, Piel Canela,